Hi, this is Karen, and I'm out at the dog park today in Duluth celebrating my 56th Earth Strong. 56 years I've been here on Earth walking, working medicine, and learning how to keenly observe, keenly and deeply listen, and to discover since 1984 a lot of mind-body factors as to why we have some of the situations that we do. Now, what we find ourselves in today is a dependency and a dominator situation. We find that a lot of our young adults are riddled with anxiety, rabid anxiety. Their hands are shaking. They feel the effects of something. We certainly know there's a lot of issues with Wi-Fi, EMFs, but we want a world where the women are always smiling, pleasing, sexual objects. The breasts are looked at exclusively for pleasure. Let's be real. People ask me, including yesterday, my own cousin, gosh, with all the problems in the world, how are we going to fix it? We're going to fix it by installing habits of success. Let me pause here for just a moment. We're going to fix it by bringing back simple ways of nature. We're going to fix it by stopping the use of radical and very toxic chemicals. We're going to stop it by being dependent on supermarkets and paying for everything. I believe I know the way. I believe that in 18 years of working in high places in law and 33 years of gathering medicine, and I don't mean the medicine from the American Medical Association. I don't mean what you're being fed today with your prescriptions when you go off to the pharmacy and your flu and your pneumonia and your shingles shots. I'm talking real medicine, the one that you've been dissuaded into not believing any further. That's why people call people like myself a charlatan or ask me, where's your shaman credential? I don't have a shaman credential. I didn't go to a 6-month or a 2-year shamanic apprenticeship practitioner program. And I don't down anybody else who did. But what I did is I carefully observed and I listened to the grandmothers, both on my maternal and paternal sides. They didn't go to doctors. Let's move this way away from the plains. I believe I have solutions to the world. I believe we need to return back to fractal-based spiral communities. And I believe the sooner that we do it, the better. I believe that we want to love all people and not be homophobic or against any kind of people, and we understand that locking people up in boxes in prisons and jails, like Michelle Alexander had to say in her book, The New Jim Crow. You see, I've taken a lifetime, watch out, I've taken a lifetime to gather medicine, and it doesn't take rocket science genius to figure out that the chemicals, the distortions in the food, and the distortions in the field are causing these problems. What are they causing? It's exactly why I wrote my books, Detox and Heal Your Thyroid, because no one's really telling you the truth. They want you to go buy their products, they want to be superfood gurus, they want to be medical mediums, and they want to give you a bunch of fluff and garbage. They want to diagnose you with bipolar or borderline personality disorder, or derealization, this or that. They're making up a diagnosis code day by day, when what's really happening is that you've been so irradiated through Marshall Islands, Fukushima, Chernobyl, Yucca Mountain, Bainbury. All of these different experiments were experiments on humanity. They've been admitted to by Bill Clinton and others. Your thyroid gland is your thermostat for your vehicle. You've got to be able to have your thermostat regulating how hot and cold you are. One of the first things I have my clients do, or down the road after we've done a few other things, is to take their basal body temperature in the morning. And if it's a sub-temperature, according to what would kind of be, the parameters of normal, I know there's a thermostat issue, but I can make a glittering overall generality that 98% of you right now are struggling with a thyroid issue, and it's producing ADHD, anxiety, bipolar, mania. It's driving you to self-medicate. It's causing you to have rabid anxiety where you can't focus and you can't remember things and you're losing things all the time because you can't take the pressure. It's causing skin rashes because you're eating a food system, a food industry, and we're farming off our children because what? The same thing you do with breakfast, lunch, and dinner, having a bed, having a pillow, going to the doctor and getting checked, is the same thing you do with going out and getting a job, getting a college education, making sure that you take the prescriptions that the doctor gave you, making sure you get all of your shots or vaccinations or immunizations, making sure that you take your dog every single year and get the same gamut of chemicals while you put the front line down his back, you put the heartworm down his throat, which leaches out a poison on a contiguous basis for a period of a month. It's a time release medication. And what's being offered to you as medicine is not medicine at all. You have people that stayed in one lane. They just did green smoothies. They just did superfoods. They just did acupuncture. They just did something. I went out and I ventured in many lanes. A medical intuitive can scan your entire body because they know energy, what I call the field, like I'm standing in right now. If the field were balanced at this moment, we wouldn't have the situations that we're having. Okay? This is Luna Girl. Bugs don't come and bite you incessantly when you eat and live clean. But most of us are fending off issues that we would normally not have to deal with if we were living in a stable, clean, holistic environment. Why should I have to wonder if I'm going to be able to afford food? Why should I wonder if I'm going to be able to afford shelter? Why should I wonder if people all around me who are becoming more and more unwell in their mind because 4 generations in their family have been eating factory farmed living beings that you call animals, why should I wonder if people are going to do insane and obscene things, that they're so hypersexual, so driven to grind up and twerk on each other all the time, that all they think about is getting off and getting off inside of somebody else because they've got to release their pressure. But then they watch movies for entertainment through the movie industry, through the television, and they see people have nasty, bad behavior because it turns on the light bulb of their sexual derangement, which is hormonal derangement, because of the deranged food system. So if you're eating excitotoxins and your kids have been since age 15 getting a Monster Energy drink in an aluminum can and a big pork and cheese, plastic cheese food-based sandwich on a wheat bun, I already know they're in too deep. But I know that if we abandon the system that we're under right now, which we call Babylon, we've got about 2 years before we are able to completely turn things around. Now, why would I be so fired up? Because even the ones closest to you are coming up with mania, hyperthyroidism. Look at our men. Look at our men, boys from age 15, 16 now, and they're going younger all the time. It's getting younger and younger that they're showing up with these symptoms. Until they're 30, 35, 40, they've got a fluttering heart, heart palpitations. They can't think straight. They forget stuff. They can't perform well in school. At the same time, the schools, which I like to just call government-based institutions, they feed government industrial surplus food that you wouldn't really feed to any human. High trans fat, high sugar, high wheat. That doesn't cause a person to want to learn. The teachers are sick, the students are sick, the principal's sick. The religion industry is sick. It's a major, major cover-up for pedophilia. That seems to be pretty patently obvious to me. Should be to you too. We have thyroid disease like never before. Why do we have thyroid disease? If you were a psychosomatic or a mind-body expert, you would know. Because the root of thyroid disease is humiliation. And the thyroid is located right inside your throat. So it has everything to do with how much weight you gain or how much you can't gain, how cold or how hot you are, how sexually driven you are, or maybe you're not sexual, your libido is completely down to nothing. You see, a dog can sense you from a mile away. He can read you. They're telepathic. They know whether you've got good intentions or not because they can sense your energy. Okay? So when one of them isn't feeling good, like my fire today, he must have got stung on his tail and it's really swollen. They can sense that he's off. And an alpha dog wants to come in and overpower him now. Humans are also resource guarders. What does that have to do with the thyroid and everything else I'm talking about? It has everything to do with it. Because you are a mammal no different than they are. You have been taught through the media, the religion, and the schools to be resource guarders, to walk in a straight line. Everything about the system is linear. From the two lines that intersect and make a cross, all the way to the way that things are done on a line, to children sitting in desks in a line, to your house being straight geometric lines in a box. Everything is linear, including birth to death, calendar of January to December, okay, 1 to 30 days in a month. Everything is in a line. So we've taken away the circle. That was a symbol of God. That was a symbol of the goddess. Partnership-based societies under Riane Eisler, who brought that about, a Holocaust survivor. I encourage you to read The Chalice and the Blade. If our thyroid, which the root cause is humiliation, has everything to do with being throttled by the neck, that's what the thyroid is telling us right now. We are humiliated beyond belief. Our loved ones are manic, they're depressed, they're struggling, they're self-medicating. They're really hurting, they're in pain because this system has let them down. That's what I want to say. It will take 2 years, just like the peace sign, 2 years for people that are hormonally deranged on a plant-based diet to come back to being grounded, to come back to healing their mind, so that we can have the clarity of mind that says prisons, jails, courts with cashiers, supermarkets, 9-to-5 jobs, commuting and parking garages and property tax and tabs on the car and insurance on the car is driving us into humiliation. It's too much to keep up with. It's too much. We got to simplify it down. I'm not holding back. I know you want to see a pretty woman that calls herself Healing Girl or Sunshine Girl and always has a smile on her face, but just like Bob Marley, I don't shine up my teeth all the time, okay? I'm not a fake person. I'm a real woman. I'm a powerful woman. I'm a highly educated, intelligent woman, and I have an exceptionally high intuitive ability. I animal communicate since I was a child, so 56 years today. Do I think I'm better than you? Don't even go there. Because the schools, with all of their linear teachings, have brought you into a program of appeal to mediocrity. That's what we would say in legal terminology. In other words, you have been swindled into making your own self mediocre, sabotaging your own self. Why would I pay for shelter and food? Why wouldn't this all be food for everyone? You know why it wouldn't? Because we don't have collective consciousness. They talk about collective unconscious through Carl Jung, but they hid the knowledge from you that collective consciousness is the power that we need. So I'm not asking to be your leader. I'm asking to be one of your many guides, one of a council of elders. Let's do it together before we lose more people, before we have more of these drugs flooding our streets, before we have more people that can't stop hitting the cannabis pipe 24/7 and dabbing because their mind is completely manic and completely depressed. Of course it is. You're installing your own dog electrical fence. Your shock collar is in your hand. It's called a cell. I've been dropping these clues for 33 years. The story of Adam and Eve was prophecy by the women during the goddess period, thousands of years ago. Prophecy to you that was the forbidden fruit. and you hold the apple in your hand today. That is a cell. The word sound on that is on point. Okay? Powerful women, don't mistake me, I'm not a feminist. I don't hate men. I don't hate any other hue. I love people. But we are in too deep, and it's time to get things right. So long for now. Be well.